drift one? You found the code drift. Well, they're very similar. The code drift one, because it was published online, it's longer, has longer footnotes, and generally things are explained in more detail. And the other one that is I don't know why did it disappear from this folder? It's some kind of affliction. Okay, so where to go to my database? So, that's the other one. So which one do you have?
That one.
This one? Yes?
I'll put the other one.
The other one?
Yeah.
Okay, we need to decide which one we read. I think we will read this one. I will just put it now in the Dropbox, so you can keep. You might want to mark some passages as we read through. Now, we read Golding's essay last week, and then somehow I thought, well, yeah, maybe it is a bit too much to spend 4 weeks reading just one author. But because of that, we already started talking about attunement, this famous Heideggerian or German word Stimmung, that means mood and also tuning an instrument. And what Heidegger explores as the real connection we have with the world. Heidegger always says, how we are in the world? We are in the world, we are always in the mood. For Heidegger, the privileged mood of all the moods, because you can be in lots of different moods. You can be in an indifferent mood, you can be in a couldn't care less mood, you could be in, you know, make my day mood. But for Heidegger, the privileged mood is anxiety. He says, and it's not a session about Heidegger, but just yes, I thought this is a nice way to get into the story. Heidegger says the privileged mood is anxiety. Anxiety, which is the dread, you know, of what Kierkegaard names, we will see next time, the fear and trembling, you know, it's existential dread, anxiety. That for Heidegger is the privileged mode of being in the world, because in this mode the paradox of existence is felt acutely. In this moment of anxiety, we are faced with both the, you know, the very real presence of us, you know, being right here in this specific space, but we are also aware of the passing of that exact thing, and it is this combined sensation that for Heidegger really reveals something very essential about the way we live, about the way we are. So that's just the background to the notion of attunement. Okay, so but just as a little palate cleanser between these two texts, between the text we read for the last 2 weeks, the Assassination of Time, and the new one, Attunement, as a work of art, I thought I will show you a little clip. And will tell you about these two wonderful artists. Anyone know the Formant brothers? Anyone? You do?
I do.
You know them, yeah? So they are two Japanese artists who work predominantly with electronic music. You need to look for their videos on online. This one, Ordering a Pizza, is fantastic. Very, very both funny and interesting. They explore through sound the same things we explore through the image. I feel that we have a kind of affinity. They are not interested in the photographic recording, they're interested in the audio recording. So this piece that I'm going to show you, it's called the International by the Formant brothers. So let's just first see it and then talk about it. Yeah, I don't want to give it any context. I just hope we get adequate sound here. Hi, take a seat.
Sorry.
That's all right. Do I need to do anything about the sound? Will you just play with it? Can you hear it?
Yes.
So, how do you read this? What is your analysis? Or before we get to analysis, what you actually had, what we had here? Can anyone describe what they just saw and heard?
Some sort of like comment. The use of Freddie Mercury.
Okay, so we have Freddie Mercury. Good. Freddie Mercury was doing what?
Singing.
Singing. Good. Singing what?
Something.
Yeah, something like
The International. Yes. What is the International? What is the International?
Communist song.
Yeah. Do you know it? No. Anyone here? Yeah. You do. It's the communist hymn, isn't it? Or, okay, so Freddie Mercury singing the International. What else? In what language? Yes?
Japanese.
In Japanese. Okay, Freddie Mercury singing the International in Japanese. What else? But that is already enough. So what is happening here? How would you describe this? How would you describe this recording?
Well, it's kind of bizarre because he is. He's Zoroastrian.
Yes.
And he's from a very different culture.
Yeah.
And he's trans. And it's even more bizarre that I can't actually understand what he's saying.
Mm.
So there are so many different factors coming in that I can't.
When do you think Freddie Mercury learned Japanese? So what we're actually hearing here? Did he just memorize the tune, do you think?
I think you probably memorise the sounds.
No. What the Foreman brothers are doing here? Yes. So what are we actually hearing? That's right. Do we hear a real human voice? No. It's a synthesized sound. But do we at the same time hear Freddie Mercury?
Yes.
Certainly. Yes, certainly. Because you unmistakably hear Freddie Mercury's voice. But of course, it is not him singing. Why? Because he never sang the International not in any language, as far as I know, but certainly not in Japanese. So what we have here, how would you understand this piece? What is it? How would you describe it? Is it a recording? Well, of course it is a recording. But what else it is? And the reason I'm kind of trying to push you to engage with it is because it seems to me that this way of walking is quite close to the way many of you people are walking. You know, so in what way would you speak about this piece?
As a musical piece, as a
Okay. Is it music? It is a musical piece. Or you might say that it uses the musical environment. But it does something else as well. Yeah?
it's like a transformation
Yeah.
that almost becomes destruction.
It's a transformation. What is being transformed?
The original sound.
Let me ask you another question. Does it make sense to you when I say that this is not a recording of a Freddie Mercury singing? Yeah? So this is a synthesized sound that sounds like Freddie Mercury. Yeah? It's a little bit like Dolly the sheep, no? It's a kind of made in the computer, made in the laboratory, artificial sound that is at the same time a sound, the sound of the voice of a real person. Yeah. So how would you call something like that? Okay, so is that real or is it fake?
You can't really,
Real.
you can't really say it's real.
Okay, good. So the whole notion of real and fake here kind of thrown out of the table because it does not apply. Yeah. So how do we call something like that? Do we have a word for something like this? Synthesizers are involved here, absolutely. It is a synthesis, yeah, but we have some other words for this kind of work. You know, it's very interesting that it's not exactly. It's very interesting that it is done with sound. If something like that was done photographically, then you would immediately recognize what we are talking about. But we have a very different relationship to sound objects, to aural objects, and to visual objects. We treat them differently. Yeah. For instance, we don't seem to be bothered at all by the fact that the voices we hear from our stereos are totally digitally produced and completely unreal. But we have big problems with, let's say, digital photography as being kind of less real. You know what I mean? No one kind of worries that, if you listen to a band on a CD, that it is sort of digital. So that's a little point. That's interesting. What I want you to start thinking about is how you get to simulacra. How do you get to talk about the virtual? What is the virtual? What you need to understand is that the virtual is not unreal. The virtual is not immaterial. This is virtual. This is a virtual Freddie Mercury. Yeah? It's possible. Freddie Mercury could conceivably learn Japanese while he was alive and could conceivably record the International, and it would conceivably sound a little bit like that. Yeah? So it's a potential Freddie Mercury that was never materialized while he was alive, but it is materialized now by these two artists, the Foreman brothers. So what are they actually doing? Well, they analyze the sound of Freddie Mercury's voice and extract from it some typical sound elements, from some typical phonemes, and map them onto a keyboard. So then they can play the keyboard and make it sound like Freddie Mercury. And then they can make him sing the International in Germany. But of course, this is recorded. So that kind of makes you think about this idea that recording doesn't have to record something that actually happened. Or the moment you start talking about recordings, the notion of the actual becomes irrelevant. Now, for extra points, I would say, think about for the Foreman brothers through the conceptual framework of Karen Barad, of the way she speaks about indeterminacy and undecidability and multi-positionality. How the familiar distinctions between originals and copies, between objects and ideas or things and images, how these distinctions become somehow dissolved, they disintegrate, and that's just what happens in the technological age. It's not something that you sort of choose to do. It's just what happens when scientific thinking reaches this stage of quantum. And as we saw last week, once indecidability, in a sense, gets in one place, in physics, we also find it immediately in mathematics, in Gödel's theorems of undecidability. We also find it in philosophy. We also find it in art. So you need to somehow try to figure out how this Freddie, how this Foreman Brothers video fits with around the things that you are doing. Yes.
I have a very salty comment. Like
What else comment?
salty.
Okay.
So, like this, they made, scientists, chemists, we synthesize chemicals, for example, beef proteins, and we analyze it, then we can make it in the lab, synthesize it, then we make it, for example, look like a chicken. So you can have a thing that looks like chicken but tastes like beef.
Yes.
But this is called like lab-made meat and junk food, processed meat that is unhealthy to you.
Yeah.
But I think that come as a simulacrum. Isn't it the same thing as what they did?
Well, how does it help?
Some people they can't have beef because certain like micro.
No, I understand about beef. You know, I don't eat meat, so I know a lot about various alternatives to meat and substitutes. I get what you're saying. Yes, you can have sort of ersatz burger, and you can have ersatz chicken. Okay, but how that helps in terms of understanding the Foreman Brothers?
So this is in a way a very similar thing. They analyze.
How does it help to say that this is similar? Yeah.
Do you mean because it's kind of substitute?
It's not really substitute. It's analyze something,
Yes.
then make it into others.
And yes, that's right. That's what they do. And what?
So that's like what I said. What they did in the lab count like the beef flavored chicken. Is that a simulacrum?
Beef flavored chicken is a simulacrum. Yeah.
Okay. So I said.
Yeah, I just didn't. I didn't understand why we are talking about chicken. But yes, it is a simulacrum. I think even normal chicken is a simulacrum.
So why
Doesn't need to be made of soya. You know, even the real one is a simulacrum.
So why does those come as like junk food, bad thing, and this is art?
Anyone cares to answer?
Say it again, next, please.
Well, it's up to you to make chicken art. You know, no one stops you.
That's why I said it was a salty comment.
Ah, I see. It's no one said that chicken is not art. Some artists actually work with chicken. No, seriously. I'll remember the name. There's a very interesting Dutch artist who genetically modifies chicken, and his project he's working with genetics and biology. And let me find it for you. I think that's actually very. Well, I will have to find, but maybe it's not Dutch. And he had a universal chicken or something like that. No, that will take a bit more researching to find the name, but anyway. The point was that obviously time. The point was to get you to think about why we need to think about virtuality in relation to particles, and as to use that as a way to move to this conversation about attunement. So we looked once at the sunflowers. If you remember, not the sunflowers, we looked at the starry night, and we have said that it's interesting how when you zoom into the image, you see that it is made of rhythms. Here we cannot really zoom as much as in the Google Art, but that it is made of different rhythms. Let's say the light blue and the dark blue and the ochre yellow and the light yellow, and these are just like signatures of a certain beat. So that suggests that one way that what the painting really wants from you, that this painting, what it wants from you, is not so much to look at it, but to listen to it. Yeah, that's I think why the connection with the Foreman brothers is interesting, because basically what they're offering us is a digital image, a digital photograph. It's just that it's one that you can only hear, but basically it is a digital image. And they are showing you how outworldly and unnatural, and perhaps, as Alexander was saying, revolting and disgusting and junk and whatever, this virtual digital image is. It's just that as long as it is visual, as long as we look at it with our eyes, we see it as normal, because that's just how our eye works. Yeah? But once it becomes a sound, all its kind of internal inconsistencies and all the ghosts, all the apparitions that populate the digital image rise to the surface. In the sound, we see it very clearly. Of course, it cannot be real, and yet it is real, so it is a kind of simulacra. Well, if we understand that about the Foreman Brothers piece, then we can say that, well, that probably is true about any image. Any image, in as much as it is a recording, is a simulacra.
That includes the images that come straight to your retina.
Sorry?
That would include the images that come straight to your retina, not me.